Bianca Censori will not face legal consequences. Bianca Censori will not face legal consequences for wearing a completely see-through dress on the 2025 Grammy Awards red carpet. Los Angeles Police Department sources told TMZ Monday that no one who was at Crypto.com Arena on Sunday evening made any formal complaints about Kanye West's wife's outfit, or lack thereof. The sources also pointed out that the annual awards show is a private event. LAPD sources said Monday that no one who was at Crypto.com Arena on Sunday evening made any formal complaints about Kanye West's wife's outfit. While Ms. Censori's outfit undoubtedly pushed the envelope, a charge of indecent exposure in California requires willful public exposure of one's genitals with the specific intent to offend or sexually arouse, LA-based lawyer Andrea Ogunchola explained to Page 6. It's theoretically possible, but unlikely she'll face any criminal prosecution for this incident, Ogunchola added, noting that the district attorney's office would have to make that call. Both Anschutz Entertainment Group Incorporated, AEG Worldwide, and the Recording Academy had security personnel on site when West and Censori arrived for music's biggest night. Sources connected to event organizers went on to insist to the outlet that the rapper-turned-fashion designer was an invited guest who made it clear he wanted to walk the carpet. The Yeezy founder wore his go-to all-black ensemble with sunglasses and a diamond chain, while Censori, who went from being his employee to his muse to his spouse, showed up in a black floor-length fur coat. While posing for photographers, however, the 30-year-old turned around and dropped her coat, exposing her entire butt in a sheer mini dress. It's theoretically possible, but unlikely she'll face any criminal prosecution for this incident, Ogunchola added, noting that the DA's office would have to make that call. Bianca Censori's revealing Grammys outfit sparked debate, with experts analyzing her shifting body language. Kanye West remained stoic, fueling speculation about a planned stunt. West later defended her attire on social media. Bianca Censori's red carpet appearance at the 67th Grammy Awards has sparked a raging debate, with body language experts weighing in on her demeanor and actions. The 30-year-old Australian model and architect, who is married to rapper Kanye West, drew attention with her revealing outfit. She wore a sheer dress and shifty expressions. Confidence or fear? According to UK-based body language expert Judy James, Censori initially appeared confident and superior as she posed alongside West in a long black fur coat. However, her demeanor changed when she removed the coat to reveal a sheer, nearly naked dress, the Daily Mail reported. Her glance up at Kanye before she removed it suggested a flicker of what looked like nerves, James told the Daily Mail. It looked like nervousness made her break her own posing rule by laughing at one point. James described Censori's stance after shedding her coat as an ultimate, attention-seeking statement, yet one accompanied by subtle signs of hesitation. Her legs crossed, and the way she placed her hands uncharacteristically awkwardly on her hips hinted at some last-minute anxiety, James noted, emphasizing a shift in emotional state. West, in contrast, showed barely a flicker of change in emotion during the moment. Kanye peered down at his wife's nipples as she posed on the Grammys' red carpet, as though they were some sort of scientific experiment, James remarked. Censori's revealing outfit and West's stoic demeanor led to speculation about whether the moment was a carefully planned stunt. Lip reader Nicola Hickling suggested that West instructed Censori to make a scene just before she nodded and dropped her coat. Despite being removed from the event, an action initially reported as police intervention but later clarified as a voluntary departure, West defended his wife's outfit on social media. Custom couture Grammy dress for the most beautiful woman ever, he wrote on Instagram. My best friend. My wife. Who is Bianca Censori? Censori, an Australian architect and former design consultant, has been in the public eye since her relationship with West began shortly after his divorce from Kim Kardashian was finalized. While her pre-West life was relatively private, she currently serves as the head of architecture at YEZY, West's media and fashion brand. Her marriage to West was initially scrutinized for its legal standing, as they did not obtain a formal marriage certificate. However, later reports revealed that they secured a confidential marriage license in California in December 2022, solidifying their union. Watching rapper Kanye West and his wife Bianca Censori get kicked out of the Grammy Awards on Sunday night, though West, of course, denies this happened. The public should ask, is Censori okay? And why in the world are we all watching West's erratic, problematic behavior and acting like it, or he, is acceptable? As West and Censori walked the red carpet, he was fully clothed, while she was in a long fur coat. While posing photographers, he appeared to order her to remove it, and she complied. Underneath, she was almost entirely nude, her breasts and genitals fully exposed. It was far from the first time a clothed West has appeared next to a nearly nude Censori, though it did mark a new development in her barely there attire. And there's nothing wrong with nudity or women showing their bodies. But the West Censori dynamic doesn't feel like an empowered woman wearing what she wants. It feels uncomfortably like a man with very particular ideas about female sexuality, parading his take on a trad wife around in an act of domination and debauchery. That's in part because of how West and Censori behave. She's barely out of her 20s and moves through public spaces mute and dead-eyed, seemingly looking to him for direction and approval. He's nearing 50 and appears to tell her what to do. Her friends have voiced serious concerns about their relationship. It's also in part because West has a long history of degrading women and seems to revel in publicly humiliating them. This misogyny exploded into public view when West interrupted Taylor Swift, who was then just 20 years old. West was in his 30s, as she received an MTV Video Music Award in 2009. West broke into her speech, grabbed the mic, and argued that Beyoncé should have one in her place. Beyoncé was clearly angry and embarrassed by the stunt, and when she later took the stage to receive a different award, she invited Swift back up to give her speech. Even though West was clearly in the wrong, the narrative of the event soon became complicated by race. Swift was often painted as a villain, a woman who used her whiteness as a shield. Never mind that she didn't actually do anything to invite West's actions, and didn't do or say much in the aftermath, either. In 2016, he mused on a track that me and Taylor might still have sex because he made that bitch famous. When she noted in her Grammy acceptance speech that year that ambitious women should know that people along the way will try to undercut your success or take credit for your accomplishments, the press covered it as a diss and her attempt to shame West. To this day, news outlets refer to the West-Swift feud, but a feud suggests two people engaged in a back and forth. What's actually going on is West engaging in a decades-long campaign of harassment. To wit, after the Grammys, West unfollowed everyone on Instagram, except for Swift. It's a move he surely knew would make headlines. Of course, people should be given the grace to own their mistakes, to apologize and correct them. But West doesn't seem to have done much of that, and keeps behaving in similarly abhorrent ways over and over again. In countless examples where famous men's mistreatment of their wives, girlfriends, female employees, and women more broadly has become public knowledge, the aghast, collective question is, who knew? Of course, a lot of people likely did. But with West, we all do. Certainly we all know enough. The full details of his relationship with Censori, and whether she's fully consenting to this or will, with some time and space, say she was coerced or abused, may not be entirely clear. But the scene at the Grammy Awards, with West acting like Censori was more his personal puppet than partner, made a lot of observers uncomfortable precisely because West's bad acts have not been well-hidden secrets. They've been out in the public eye for years now. The exposure of Bianca Censori's body is contrasted with the enigma of her mind. Apparently, they got kicked out pretty quickly. On Sunday night, the rapper Kanye West and his wife, the Australian former model and Yeezy brand architectural designer Bianca Censori, appeared at the Grammy Awards. West wore black sunglasses, Censori wore basically nothing. In a stunt for the cameras, West posed behind Censori as she turned her back to the paparazzi and lowered a long fur coat down her shoulders. When she turned to face the photographers, she was wearing a fully transparent mini dress and no underwear. The effect was that she appeared completely nude. According to Page 6, the pair were escorted out following the incident, though others claim that the couple left of their own accord. West, after all, was only nominally a contender for a Grammy this year. He was nominated in just one category, Best Rap Song, for Carnival, his collaboration with Ty Dolla $ign. He ultimately lost, but he didn't come to the Grammy Awards expecting to win. What he wanted out of his attendance was what he got when Censori dropped her coat. The clothing, or rather lack thereof, is typical of Censori in her appearances with West. Since the pair married in early 2023, shortly after West finalized his divorce from reality star Kim Kardashian, Censori has rarely been seen without West and rarely wearing clothes. On a 2024 trip to a restaurant in Los Angeles, she wore a sheer flesh-colored bodysuit with long sleeves but no coverage over her breasts. That same summer, at the Chateau Marmont, she wore thong underwear without any pants. On a trip to the movies, she wore a sheer crop top with no bra and a pair of shorts so short they tipped into the genre of briefs. The effect of her nudity and near-nudity is heightened by the proximity of Kanye West, her husband, who is usually wearing too much clothing besides Censori's too little: long pants, long sleeves, high necks, and layers of jackers, sweatshirts, and ponchos, often combined with a beard and dark sunglasses that conceal his face. Risque fashion is a tradition of its own, and the bodies of celebrity women are offered up for exposure and visual consumption in a kind of conventional ritual that often carried its own critique. In terms of sheer exposure, Censori's outfit, as it were, at the 2025 Grammys is not so different from Rihanna's famous sparkly sheer flapper-inspired number from the 2014 Council of Fashion Designers of America Awards. And yet Censori's habit of nudity is darker, less playful, and not just because it declines to partake of the coquettish ritual of faux concealment that is typical of so much other revealing fashion, and, indeed, of celebrity itself. There is a clear desire to shock in her appearances with West, but there is no playfulness. In vain one scans the photos of Censori in search of a smile, a twinkle in her eye, a sign of conspiratorial pleasure, or of being in on the joke, or even of mere willingness. One sees only the blankness of her expression, vacant and somewhat sad. Writing in The New Yorker, Naomi Fry called her a pure, mute spectacle of flesh. The exposure of Censori's body is contrasted with the enigma of her mind. Officially speaking, no one knows what she thinks of her own public nudity, or of her relationship with West, or of anything at all for that matter, since she never talks. West, however, is somewhat less of a mystery. Around the time of his messy divorce from Kardashian, with whom he shares 4 children, West's behavior became erratic. He launched a half-hearted run for president before endorsing Donald Trump. He praised Hitler and tweeted that he would go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. This public behavior was allegedly paired with increasingly disturbing private actions, especially concerning sex and women. Back before he lost his partnership with Adidas, he showed executives their pornographic videos on his phone during a meeting. He is being sued by at least 2 women for sexual assault. One, a model for a music video that West worked on, says that he strangled her and shoved his fingers in her mouth during a music video shoot at New York City's Chelsea Hotel in 2010, allegedly yelling, "This is art. This is fucking art," during the attack. Another, his former assistant, accuses West of sexually assaulting her on multiple occasions, including one incident in which she claims that West drugged her in the presence of the rapper and accused sex trafficker Sean Diddy Combs. West has called the allegations baseless. As for Censori, her mother came to California from Australia not long after the marriage, reportedly because she was concerned about her daughter. On one of the visits, according to West's former assistant, West told Censori that he wanted to have sex with Censori's mother and to make Censori watch. It would be generous and easier on our consciences to imagine Censori and West partaking together in a critique of gender and celebrity. In this version of events, what West is doing when he stands behind Censori and watches her undress for paparazzi photographers is not using her degradation and vulnerability as proof of his status, but indicting us, the viewer. His vampiric consumption of her body becomes ours. The brutal depiction of heterosexuality as a practice of domination and value extraction is shown to be the same as the practice of celebrity and its consumption. But if that critique is contained in West and Censori's spectacle, it may be we, not them, who puts it there. Censori's consent and knowingness is not actually in evidence here, and even if it was, consent exists, often, even in situations of asymmetry and violence, even in situations where great harm is being done. Critiquing Censori as an artist allows us to see her differently, as something more hopeful and complicated than a victim of brutality. But sometimes things are what they look like.